Yeah, that's a good question. So those were actually sections. I can just walk you through what the process was. Those were our PDP sections that I built for our PDP for a new launch that we had. And so for me, the most foundational thing, like, is not even like, I've said this in a lot of the tweets, like, and I'm like, right now, and I hate like boasting or bragging, but I'm just excited about this. Like, I'm 5 for 5 on intelligence tests that I've ran end to end in Claude. And by end to end, I mean like starting with like the insights and the research and the strategy. And so what's important to me and what I think is cool is not just that I can design and dev stuff, but it's because you can do that so fast. I actually think the strategy is more important. You only have a certain limited number of testing slots that you can take up. And so being able to do those to a much higher degree. And I think I'm really onto something because prior to this, like, we have never had 5 winning tests in a row. Usually it's like 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, and these were like some pretty big wins, like 5, 10% lifts. And why I think that has happened.
For 10% lift on CVR.
Yeah. CVR revenue.
That's insane. I mean, relatively speaking, like that's crazy.
Yeah. And
Nice.
The fact that it's multiple in a row. And the reason why is this CRO skill that I trained. And I just I didn't know where this was going to go. It was just one Sunday. I was just like, hey, I feel like Claude could do a pretty good job with CRO, and obviously tweeted about it. And so I just started feeding Claude everything I had access to. And so gave it Intelligence MCP. I gave it a Slack channel of all of, just how to go through that. I gave it spreadsheets. I gave it transcripts of looms from a past CRO agency. I gave it I always have granola notes on when I'm recording my podcast. So I've had Dylan Ander on twice, the CEO of Heatmap. Gave it those notes. I gave it, he later sent me his book as a PDF. Just kind of built these knowledge bases and trained it. And then and what I'll do is I'll just go to Claude and I'm like, hey, this is what I want to do. Here's what I have. What else do you need? And I'm like, wow, what do you need for UX best practices? And Claude tells me, hey, Baymard. I'm like, all right, cool. Go scan the web, find that stuff. So kind of has all of the CRO frameworks. And for example, Claude is trained on when coming up with a test. It's trained on the ICE framework, right? Everyone's, I think, familiar with the ICE framework. So it's trained on that. It's trained on, we look at highest traffic pages above the fold. That's going to be the higher leverage areas, There's just a certain testing framework that we've picked up over the years from working with different agencies and stuff. It's trained on that. So it has the CRO basics. Then it has our data. So it has, at the time it was Intelligence MCP. Now it has GA4. We have the Heatmap API. So it's pulling in data from multiple sources and able to, analyze that data and have whatever it is, dashboards. And then where I think is, the coolest one is the qualitative stuff. I have this one really big customer intelligence markdown file, and it analyzes a lot of subjective insights. So it has our Junip MCP reviews. It has, what else? RichPanel CX tickets API. It has OuterSignal MCP. It has ListenLabs, which is a customer survey focus group thing we do for prospects. We can kind of build panels of people and send surveys to them and do customer interviews. And then we use Typeform as well for a lot of internal customer advisory stuff. And so Claude analyzes all of that. And I have skills. So any of these skills, like CRO skill, landing page building skills, anytime they run, they actually refresh those APIs, hold new fresh info into that customer intelligence markdown file. And so the reason that's important is a long way of saying to your question of where do you even start? How do you even know what to test? Is I just ask Claude, it'll analyze all of this. And so I think that's been, to me, the biggest factor. But then I can go and design 4 variations of each test, stacking variables, and be able to design and develop features. So the one you're asking me about, Claude knows this markdown file analysis thing, knows that shade matching friction is the number one, thing. I then have a skill. You do something once and you build a skill that does competitive intelligence and looks at 8 different websites and sees how they handle this friction, what they do on their PDB sections, builds a mock-up of it. Once we get it in a good place, gets that over into Shopify. So that's kind of a little bit of the workflow that has been really cool.
Yeah.